Hi guys, I'm back in my usual place in front of the blind that the cats have popped the end off of. And I was just watching a friend on YouTube's video. She was very emotionally distressed. She just had a major surgery and a life-changing surgery, and she's feeling very emotional today, and I just want to hug them, and you can't hug them through the computer. But I think it's good to have emotional days. I think it's good to get things out of your system. And I think after a buildup of so long that your body will naturally, no matter what's going on in your life, push some of those things out, and you go, oh my goodness, I'm crying and I just don't know why. But there are reasons for hers, but but sometimes there isn't a reason that you can pinpoint. It's just everything. And I used to have days like that when I would be very emotional, but I haven't. I have not in 2 years. Over 2 years. 2 years and like 8 months. I haven't. I think it's because I bottle everything up and I hold everything back, but when my brother was diagnosed with cancer, terminal cancer, I had a cry then, and then I took care of him for the whole 8 months after his diagnosis that he lived. I took care of him, and I held back all those emotions, bottled them up to keep it away from him. And he even stated that he appreciated that, I was just there for him. So I did that, and then at his funeral, I couldn't cry. My eyes would tear up. My voice would crack a little bit, but I couldn't cry. And I haven't had a good cry. I haven't really dealt with all of that. I've gone through some ups and downs, and still going through ups and downs, and I don't know. I just don't. I can put it back on that shelf somewhere. And there are days when I can't talk about it because I'm afraid I'll get to that point, and I really don't want. I don't know what I'm afraid of. I don't want to release all that. But I think I'm still stuck. There are stages of grieving, and I'm still stuck. Maybe at the tail end of the angry, just mad. No, I'm really not at the tail end. I'm still mad. I still love God, but I'm still mad at God. And, He can take it. So, but I can remember having just really days when I just felt bad, and all I wanted to do was lay across the bed and just sob. And a lot of those times it was just get it out. So, but since for 2 years and 8 months, I haven't been able to really release any of that. My birthday was August the 31st, and my brother's, the day he died is September 3rd. So I had just had my 40th birthday, and we were in the hospital. We didn't celebrate or anything, but we were in the hospital when I had, with him. He was in the hospital, but we were there. And then a few days later, he was gone. So we just had the anniversary of his death. And it just does not seem like that long. That he's been gone for 2 years. It doesn't seem like that long. And I can remember every aspect of from the time he died and everything that happened in that little space. And I remember bits and pieces of taking care of him, a lot of taking care of him and stuff. And that was really hard, but I wouldn't trade it for anything unless I could trade it for him being well and being here with us. So, emotions are good. Sometimes it's good to let those emotions out. And I wish I could, but I can't. And I'm not the counseling kind. I don't see anything wrong with going to counselors and stuff, but I just don't. So, but September the 3rd, and I miss him. I miss him every day. And I can swear sometimes that I can feel him close. So, and I'll tell you this. I truly, truly believe that there's a heaven. And I'll tell you why. Where my brother lived, you couldn't get cell reception. My husband even bought me a new cell phones to try to see if that would help, and it didn't help. I would have to, my day started out, my brother was afraid to go to sleep at night, and I know why, because he was afraid he would die in his sleep. So it would be like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning before he'd pass out to sleep. And then as soon as he got settled down, I'd settle down on a mattress because we had a day bed brought in and put in his living room. So I just dragged the mattress off of a bunk bed in there, and I slept in there beside him every night. He didn't want me out of his sight. So I did that, but I'd lay down right after him. Say it was 4 or 5 when he laid down. I was probably 15 minutes behind him, and then I'd get up at 10 and he'd sleep a good bit of the day, but I was able to slip around, do things. But every evening, if we weren't at chemo or a doctor's appointment or buying groceries or doing something, I was making my round. I'd have to get in the car and go about a quarter mile up the road, maybe a little over a quarter mile up the road to get cell reception. So I would go up the road, and the first time or two I was like sit on the side of the road and just sit and talk, and then that just got weird. So this was back out in the country on dirt roads, so I did talk on my cell phone and drive, but I probably met one car on those dirt roads behind. So I made this loop. Well, the loop that I made was kind of by the cemetery where our grandfather was buried. And I would pull up beside. His grave was pretty close to the road, or pretty close to the fence that was by the road. And then the little drive through the cemetery, his was right on the front. So I'd just pull up in the truck and I would talk to him every day. I'd say, "Granddaddy, he's coming. I want you to watch out for him. I want you to be there when he comes. I want you to hold his hand." So I did this. Every day that we weren't somewhere at a doctor's appointment or chemo out of pocket, it was a lot. Every day I could do it, I did it. And I would talk to my husband on the drive and stuff, and by the time I'd finished talking to him, I'd be about at the cemetery, and I could do that. So the day we decided to put my brother in the hospital for the last time, I was sitting in the bedroom with him. We had just gotten oxygen in there, at home oxygen, because he had lung cancer and he always felt like he couldn't get his breath. So finally they got the oxygen in there, And the day they got the oxygen delivered, and I got him set up in the bedroom, and he was, you know, dozing off and on. He woke up a couple of times to tell me something, and then one of the times that he woke up, he said, his eyes were still closed, but he said, "Sherry." Well, he didn't say Sherry. My nickname is Bug. He always called me Bug. And he said, "Bug, I see Granddaddy standing on the hill, and he's waiting on me. He's waiting for me. He's got his hand out. He's waiting for me." And I said, "He is, Jim." And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, he's ready for you to go for a walk with him, and you can go for a walk with him anytime you want to." And he said, "Yeah." And then he just kind of went to sleep for a while, and then we had to get him up and get him to the hospital. And then that was the last time he was at home. So I know without a shadow of a doubt, I believe without a shadow of a doubt, that there's a heaven and our loved ones are waiting for us there. You couldn't convince me otherwise. And it makes me feel better about death and, leaving everyone. But it helps me deal with the part of not having him here to a certain extent. But I'm still greedy, and I still want him here with us. I miss my brother. It was 3 girls and 1 boy, and I miss him. Oh, you wouldn't even believe. And I have found myself, it's just like I can feel that he's here somewhere. And so, yeah, emotions. I wish I could let go of some, but I can't. And I don't know if it's because they're bottled up or because a part of me is at peace with it. But I still miss him. I miss him terribly. But anyway, that's a rattle. But yeah, so friend whose video I just watched, I wished I was there to wrap my arms around you and give you a big hug, and it'll all be okay. It'll all work out okay. And tomorrow will be a new day, and it'll be a better day. And it might be another emotional crying day, but if it is, just go with it and let it all out. And eventually, when you've purged enough of that emotion out, you'll feel better. You will. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. This is a very different video for me, but we'll see. Anyway, bye guys.